All right, this is our next episode of True Wrestling Fan Discussions, continuing our Survivor Series retro review series. This is going to be Survivor Series 1991. I'm your host, Mike.
I'm Frank, and let's get into this one. This was another one of my personal favorites. This was probably one of the ones I most watched besides 1990. Definitely because of the first time ever Survivor Series, the WWE title was on the line against a guy that couldn't be beat, even though he was, but it wasn't on record. And also, the intro Survivor Series matches to me was one of the most entertaining and most athletic of the Survivor Series competitors that you had in it. And of course, this Survivor Series wouldn't go as it wouldn't be the same unless you had replacements. Lord knows we've got our handful in this one, so let's just get into it. November 27th, 1991, Detroit, Michigan, 17,500 people in attendance for this one at the Joe Louis Arena.
On a Wednesday. This is
Yes.
the first year Survivor Series on a Wednesday. Every year was a Thanksgiving Day on a Thursday, but this is the first year they went to Wednesday, which I actually prefer.
Yeah, I liked it. Like we said earlier in the past, it kicked off our Thanksgiving vacation
Hmm.
because then the next day you had the holiday itself and stuff. So it was really awesome to rush home from school and wait for this.
Yep.
And I remember in this one, Bobby Heenan telling Gorilla Monsoon that he was having the biggest spectacle at his house for the turkey dinner. He was charging $8 a head
Yeah.
at the door, and his mother only had to pay $6 because he liked her.
Bobby was good on this. Bobby was making me laugh when he kept saying, whoa, whoa,
Yes.
Ric Flair, because that's Ric
Only
Flair's
only
debut.
one thing I didn't like about this is that, and I know they only had 6 days to promote Tuesday in Texas.
Oh, well, we're going to get into that.
We'll get into it. I'm just going to say right now they oversold it.
Well,
But we'll get into it.
we're going to get into it because I got a lot to
Yes.
say about that because it took
Okay.
away from this pay-per-view, but I'll get into it.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's kick it off with the opening contest of the Survivor Series. Again, like I said, this was one of my personal favorites, especially in this one. You had Captain Roddy Piper, Intercontinental Champion Bret the Hitman Hart. You had Virgil minus the $1 million belt, and the British Bulldog.
Yeah.
If Bobby Heenan says $1 million body, 10-cent mind.
Yeah, they have a team there, except for Virgil, because Virgil's there.
Well, he was
But
hot in '91, so I could see why putting him in there. Maybe Tornado could have been better in this with those guys, but I think Virgil did his.
Tornado was on a decline anyway. But I'm just saying, look at the three of them. Those are all three Hall of Famers besides Virgil. Did Virgil get into Hall of Fame? I don't think he got into Hall of Fame.
No, last I heard, he was camping out on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
They'll probably throw him in
there.
They'll probably throw him in there eventually, but
put him in the celebrity one.
Yeah, that's a squad, and it's interesting because Brett fused with both of those guys in '92. He goes on to feud with Bulldog and with Piper.
Yep. And
all baby faces.
And at the end of '92, he did defend the title against Virgil.
Yeah.
So, and in any event, their opponents, Captain Nature Boy Ric Flair, who was just actually Ric Flair, with the distorted World Heavyweight title, I love that.
Which at this point it actually was believe it or not, a tag team title, because at this point he had just sent the title back. Mm-hmm. I guess was it to Crockett, NWA? He had just sent the title back down there. So even though they distorted it, this is actually a tag belt. I've seen the pictures, and it's actually a tag team title. I like the big gold belt when they brought that in.
Oh yeah,
Jack Tunney had a
video distorting it. Whatever. You had the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, which I thought fit pretty good in here with Flair.
Yeah. Oh, what a great team.
Mm-hmm. You had the Mountie, just fresh out of getting out of the NYPD's finest jail, and the Warlord, Cuckoo Kachu, or oversized Stone Cold Steve Austin, as I've always said.
Well, Warlord and Bulldog had their never-ending feud.
Oh my God, a year of this nonsense. Yeah. And it actually started at a house show in 1990 in December. So this was like ridiculous. The whole year, every pay-per-view in 1991, they were fighting, including Tuesday in Texas. It's ridiculous. In any event, this one was really hard to get an elimination on, and I really think the outcome of this was the back saying, "Hey, there's too much time on this match." Because this did run just under 23 minutes total. It wasn't until 11 minutes in, just about 10 minutes 55 seconds, where the first elimination took place. I mean, that's how there was a lot of athleticism in this, a lot of stuff, a lot of comical stuff, especially with Flair when Piper's boxing him, he takes the steps, falls down.
Yeah, the crowd popped, man, big time when Flair and Piper went at it. You had a huge pop from the crowd.
I think besides the title match, this Royal Rumble match had the biggest pop of the night because of all the competitors that were in it.
Mm-hmm.
And despite what people will say about Virgil, those were the 4 hottest guys in 1991. And Virgil obviously had his decline, and then you had 4 of the hottest guys on the other side in 1991, especially Ric Flair, his pay-per-view debut.
That was his debut. Yeah,
so
the real world champion.
Oh God, I love that. Everything from they did in the summer on with him and Heenan was just classic. I loved it. Unfortunately, the British Bulldog was the first to get eliminated, thanks to Ric Flair, who pinned him. And then again, this match took so long that it was another 7 minutes before there was another elimination. And the elimination on Bulldog was kind of stupid, just kind of like a double axe handle to the back of the head. But then again, this is the type of
Survivor Series,
Survivor Series, yeah.
This was the first time I believe that Flair and Brett lock up.
Yes.
Yeah, in this match. First time. Mm-hmm.
Brett gets a lot of firsts with some of the Hall of Famers. Like he got Undertaker. He was the first one to lock up with him. He gets his hands on Flair for the first time in this one. I mean, Piper had his feuds back with him in WCW. So, I mean, they early 80s NWA. So, yeah, they were familiar with each other. Plus, they were, as much as they were great enemies on camera, they were the best of friends.
Yeah, they were really good friends.
I had just seen a photo. He was the best man at one of his weddings.
Oh, yeah.
With Steamboat, too. But, yeah, I love it. One of his weddings.
Yeah, I saw that Steamboat picture. I like that picture. Yeah.
Yeah, they just didn't look happy.
Cool.
I think they weren't smiling.
I think they both end up getting divorced, don't they? I think so. I don't know.
Oh, my God. Anyway. The next pinfall, the Warlord goes out at the hands of Roddy Piper.
Yeah, he's out of there.
So now we're down to a 3-on-3, and this is where it gets ridiculous. I'm guessing time restraint is the reason why 5 guys. Was it 5-2 down? You were down to 6. Yeah, 5 guys were disqualified, and they said the only person that in the ring that is not disqualified was the Nature Boy Ric Flair. And I'm like, what is going on here? Flair was doing the same stuff just as everybody else. I really believe that there had to be a time restriction on this, that they had to say,
they probably told him wrap it up. You got to wrap it up, yeah.
And which is unfortunate because this could have gone at least 35 minutes and the fans would have gotten their money's worth out of that match alone. And it would have been cool to see take the process of elimination to see who we can get down to. And it would have been cool if we could have gotten down to Brett and Flair as the final 2, considering what we'd see a year later. But this was a really, really well done Survivor Series match. And Ric Flair is the sole survivor at his pay-per-view debut, sign of things to come. So this was pretty good. After this match, they had, because you remember in the beginning of the pay-per-view, they show what happened the weekend prior with Savage and the Jake the Snake Roberts and Lucifer, who we all know was supposed to be Sid Justice, but we're not going there. So they show that whole video. You know, the one thing that Peacock edited out, and I always loved watching this on VHS back in the day, and even the DVD that I have, is that originally when they put Savage on the gurney, Piper's running with him and he falls off. Peacock edited that out because I didn't see it this time around when I watched it again.
Might have been WWE that edited it out. I don't think it was Peacock. They don't care if you botch. It was probably WWE.
Oh man, because that was actually funny when he did. He's trying to get to so bad to the back that he actually.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I got to look it up on YouTube. I don't remember that. But that's funny. That's interesting.
Because I have it on, because I had put it on. I had the anthology for the Survivor Series, because it was hard to get the volume. Yeah. And that was classic to me. In any event, that Jack Tunney, the figurehead, had reinstated Randy Savage, but not for this pay-per-view. Which I really I'm going to say this now only because the whole reinstatement conversation is coming up right now. If you're reinstating him, but not for that Survivor Series match that Jake was captaining, why was that the main event? That's my only problem there. Why was the 3-on-3 then the main event? Why couldn't they switch it back?
He said, "I cannot, within good conscience, put him in the match and
allow him to compete."
But I believe Jake's version that
he believed that the snake was devenomized.
Okay.
He's a robot.
Now, this is what I don't understand. Well, actually,
why did he have a magnifying glass on his desk? and a bunch of WWE magazines.
So it's not like Jack Tunney even said that Macho Man is still not 100% to compete. He didn't even say that. He didn't even say well, he's still sick from the venom, so he can't go out there. He just said, I cannot work. You know what the real story was? They wanted them to fight on Tuesday in Texas, and they didn't want them to lock up before that. So they wanted people to buy that pay-per-view just because they're fighting on it. So that's why
it was a 6-minute match, by the way. I'm not going to spoil our next review, but it was a 6-minute match.
That's all it was. That's why I said in the beginning how I felt like because of Tuesday in Texas, this Tuesday in Texas took away from this pay-per-view. They kind of screwed the fans. They kind of screwed the fans. And the whole thing, they were just selling Tuesday in Texas. Because originally, I don't think it was going to be a pay-per-view. I think it was just going to be some sort of a house show.
Like a primetime wrestling or
something like that. And then they decide, well, we might be able to get some buys. We might be able to milk these people. So
I don't even remember how much it was because I remember a friend of mine, Mike, he got the pay-per-view. He got the Tuesday in Texas. And I remember I was on the phone with him as a kid during the main event trying to find out what was going on. And then he tells me Hogan won because I can hear the stuff going on in the background because I had gotten the Survivor Series, but there was no way my parents were going to let me pay
they weren't going to
whatever the price was at the time. I think it was
scumbags. Scumbags. Yeah. I think it might have been like half. It was probably like 15 or whatever it was. Probably, but either way,
maybe like an in your house.
But still, good luck getting your parents. We just bought you this pay-per-view. Oh, now you want me to buy another one, regardless of how much it was.
6 days later.
Yeah, so they're scumbags. But anyway, that was supposed to be Sid in that spot at Survivor Series who got replaced.
Yeah,
and it was supposed to be like you said. Sid was supposed to get bitten.
Yeah, my only question is why couldn't we just switch the main event Survivor Series match to something else like the one I just went over? Because a 3-on-3 ending the night was crap. But anyway, they interview Randy Savage and Elizabeth, and they're talking about Tuesday in Texas. And I was so gung ho on seeing this match, this feud, and they screwed it up because they did it in the wrong time frames. No technical pay-per-view match. It didn't culminate at WrestleMania like it should have possibly. It ended on a Saturday night main event of all places. I mean, it's just a great feud, just done at the wrong time of year, I guess. Yeah. So, in any event, after Savage's interview, we go to our next Survivor Series match, which was kind of a stinker, in my opinion. It was newly patriotic Sergeant Slaughter, along with Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who's been demoted from captain now, by the way, and I'll get to that in a minute, with also the Texas Tornado and Tito Santana. Now, his team was pretty much originally, it was all replaced. It was supposed to be him as the captain, along with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, or just the Dragon, and Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Now, Neidhart got injured at the hands of Ric Flair and the Beverly Brothers, so he was out. Neidhart was replaced by Sergeant Slaughter. Steamboat, or the Dragon, he left WWE. He literally came back for a cup of coffee, not even. And he was replaced by Tito Santana. So Duggan's whole team was just replaced at the blink of an eye, and he was demoted. I love this. On the other side, you had Captain Colonel Mustafa, Jesus, the Berserker.
Huss.
What the shit that was. Skinner. Oh, Lord. And he gets an Intercontinental title shot at Tuesday in Texas.
He's actually a good wrestler. It's just a bad gimmick. He's not a bad wrestler.
Yeah. I seen him in the independents and stuff.
Yeah, he's a good wrestler.
Pretty good. Yeah. And you had Hercules, who was a replacement for a god-awful gimmick, Big Bully Busick.
Oh, Jesus.
Supposed to be on the team. But he was replaced by Hercules, who at this point, Paul Roma's gone, but he's still wearing the Power and Glory stuff. And you really can't recognize him because he's got now the long hair and the mustache and the handlebar mustache. And I'm like, that's Hercules or a jacked up Jake? I mean, it was hard to recognize him. But he was on his way out almost too.
Yeah, this was a stinker.
This was really bad. I mean, not so much for Slaughter's team, but it took 8 minutes before it was the first pinfall, and the first one to go out was the captain, Colonel Mustafa. I mean, of all people, he's the first to go out. I mean, that's bad. That's really bad. And to make matters worse, 4 minutes later, now Hercules goes out at the hands of Tito Santana. Yeah. So
was he all mad? Was he all mad at? I should notice. I just watched this. But I was like dozing off during this match. I don't even know if it was El Matador at that point.
Yeah,
Was
he
he?
was.
He was, right?
He was
He
wearing the
was on.
guacamole,
Yeah.
the
Okay,
flying
okay.
jalapenos, and
Which
yeah,
I
I
had a
kind of
feeling
liked
he
it.
was El Matador.
I liked it.
Hey,
I
no,
mean,
the outfit looked nice, but a guy like Tito Santana, who's a legend, he doesn't need to be repackaged like that.
yeah, at this point, I don't think repackaging needed to be done, although it was kind of cool. I like how Bobby Heenan has said, "Is that a Chihuahua in his hand or a hat?"
Yeah.
So, I mean, I thought towards the end this was good for Tito, but yeah, this could have been done. This maybe should have been done after the Strike Force breakup. Not okay. He's still wearing the Strike Force outfit 2 years later. Let's put a new gimmick. Let's put a new thing on him. So, but at least he was still relevant at this point. That was my thing, that he didn't fall into the cracks and they just don't do nothing with him.
Yeah, I didn't like how they modified the flying forearm. They made it to the back now.
El Paso de Morte.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the whole.
Remember, he used to go dun, dun. When we used to play. Oh my God! Side story. We used to actually have Royal Rumbles on our block.
Who did?
So you had to actually get thrown to the curb, like not into the middle of the street because you get hit by a car, but like from the sidewalk to the curb. And I used to always Tito was one of my guys that, because we get thrown out and then we would come back. And this is way before McFoley did it. So we'd pick somebody and then come back until we got to 30. There's only a few of us, probably like 5 of us or something like that. So
we always found a house that had the iron fence, but kind of a flat, so that it was easy to clothesline them over.
Right.
And then until the people that own the house threw us out or called the cops.
Yeah.
It was good stuff.
Good times.
Oh, I guarantee people that are watching this have done. Oh, I've done that. Any event, now we're on a 4-on-2. 90 seconds later, Slaughter gets his second elimination. He takes out Skinner. So we've got a 4-against-1 on the Berserker, and obviously you know where I'm going with this. Shortly after that, the clothesline from Slaughter into Duggan's 3-point stance. Slaughter's entire team survives. All 4 men, and if you did a grand finale in this one, it would have been 6 against 4.
I seem to recall, and I could be wrong about this, they did say there was going to be a grand finale at some point. Like, not the night of the pay-per-view. They didn't say this the night of the pay-per-view, but before this Survivor Series. Like, I remember them saying, and I could be wrong, but I remember them saying that there was going to be a grand finale match. And then at some point, they didn't do it again because they had done it the prior year in 90. But I wouldn't want to see this guy's whole team survive Slaughter. Slaughter, for me, when they turned him back babyface, it didn't work because they made you hate him so much that at that point, I'm an American again. It doesn't work for me.
And this just recently happened, like before the Survivor Series.
Yeah,
because in '91
he was still feuding with Hogan right.
One of the last matches, and I have this on for the Hogan episode. They had one of the last matches was in Denver, a house show. It was a
strap?
Desert Storm match.
Okay.
And funny thing is, Randy Savage was a special guest referee for that one. But that was one of the last matches before Hogan moved on to Flair.
Yeah.
And this was in October of '91. So you're talking about 30 days later, I'm a Patriot again.
No.
It doesn't work that way.
Doesn't work.
If you were going to do this after the Survivor Series, like the week after on primetime or whatever, and have him. But I mean, this was just quickly done. Like, oh, we got to change you back. This gimmick's over.
No.
It never worked to begin with. So, any event, after this match, Jake the Snake Roberts is interviewed, and this was one of his best. And I've always said, despite everything with Jake, the one thing he always did well was interviews. And this one was I liked his outfit too, the leather pants, cowboy boots, and the sweater. And now all of a sudden he's wearing an earring. And I love how he said, for years you've always been worried about the snake in the corner, where you should have really been worried about the snake in the ring. And I thought that was a good promo. And he's constantly, this Tuesday in Texas, and I'm like, oh, you guys are saying this way too many times. I mean, we couldn't come up with a better pay-per-view name than Tuesday in Texas.
Trust me.
Yeah. Oh, I love that every time. Trust me. His music was even good.
No, it was good. Snake, this is heel Snake is good, man.
And it's a shame it didn't last longer. And when I do his episode, and that's going to come up in probably January, the reason for him leaving, was totally chaotic around WrestleMania. So when I get over there, I'm going to save it for that. In any event, so Jake has given his promo. Savage has given his. We've got our probably, as of right now, our only match for Tuesday in Texas. Until we get to our next match, which was Hulk Hogan defending the title against according to them, the undefeated Undertaker. But we all know the Ultimate Warrior beat him in a house show in a body bag match.
Not only that, Piper beat him in a body bag match.
But he's just never been pinned. Like Andre, undefeated, but never been pinned.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Nobody knew that. There was no internet back then, so nobody really knew.
Exactly. By this point, Taker really had it down to where the walking the slow. He really had the gimmick going as opposed to a year ago.
It's the greatest challenge.
This match was one of my favorites. Except that damn pain in the ass getting involved, not once, but twice in 6 days. Ric Flair. I mean, it would have been cool to see this be a straight up. I understand storyline wise, it makes sense because Undertaker's a heel. This is the only way they could beat Hogan. But it would have been cool as they hyped up the Undertaker the way he was to actually beat Hogan legit.
That wasn't happening.
I know
it would have been cool, but that wasn't happening. You know what I read too? I read that they were the WWF, they confiscated Undertaker signs from the crowd. They only allowed like the Hogan signs in the crowd.
You know, he was being cheered when they announced him.
He was. Yeah. It's Undertaker. It's Undertaker, right?
And even louder at Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, he was in Detroit. They were in Detroit, number one. And then when you go to Texas, Undertaker's from Texas.
So
there you go.
And this is where the fans
not from Death Valley. Not from Death Valley.
Nobody's from Death Valley.
Yeah. But, was he from Death Valley or parts? No, he was from Death Valley, right? Warrior was parts unknown.
Parts unknown was Warrior.
I'm pretty sure Undertaker was Death Valley.
Yeah, it was Death Valley.
Yeah.
They announced it at the first Survivor Series. Mm-hmm. So, the fans gave him a huge pop. Hogan got a bigger one because it's Hogan.
Hogan had a great pop, even though it was 91. He was still over.
Yeah, and
the setup was good
Warrior's
too.
not here, so
no, I know. Unfortunately, I know it took away. I wish Warrior was on this pay-per-view. The setup was good on the funeral parlor.
Yes,
you know
where Flair comes out.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Big man, you know how long I've heard about the 24-inch pythons." Yeah. And then he tells him, "What you gonna do?" And then Hogan, "Well, let me tell you."
So yeah. And then Undertaker, I guess Undertaker was in the casket, right? And he comes out.
Yeah, because they kept putting the camera behind it, and all of a sudden you see the door open. And I love when Piper and Savage come down. That's it. Can't take it anymore because they're choking him out. Yeah. Piper's like, "Get him out of here! I'll kill him." Savage,
he was no selling everything. He's like no selling everything, and then he rips the crucifix from Hogan's neck.
Yeah, he goes down. He's watching them.
And Hogan's.
Hogan was good at selling that.
No, he was. We got to give him that. Yeah. You know, that's right. That was right when Randy and Piper were doing commentary for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
At some point, Vince is like, "Nah, you guys got to wrestle again because I'm paying you too much money just to commentate." So,
well, Piper was coming off of the hip surgery through '91 because he had the crutch. I believe it was at WrestleMania 7. No, SummerSlam. He had it when Virgil came out. So he was just coming off the surgery before he got back in the ring, and of course Savage, doing that whole thing. But yeah, I never liked Savage on commentary anyway. I've duly noted that even in '93, I thought his commentary sucked. I think he belonged in the ring, and I think Vince did him wrong by keeping him away from the ring. So, but in any event, yeah, that the funeral parlor was awesome leading up to this. Flair comes down, the whole thing, and then Heenan's like, "Well, why did Hogan get involved with him? He didn't get involved in the match. He went out and he decked him." And he's like, "Monsoon, he has no business being out there." And he gets tombstoned on the chair, and all of a sudden they're selling it like he's got a cracked neck, moving his extremities. Oh my God. I love Piper's. Well, Taker wins the match. Let me just put that in there. Obviously now the WWE champion. I love when they interviewed Piper at this point, and he's doing ding dong. He goes, "I just seen Hogan. He's got hair on his teeth. He's looking for Jack Tunney." He goes, "We hear the bell. We be coming."
Yeah, and
at this point, I'm like, you got to get in the ring with him.
And then Bobby Heenan was saying Hulkamania is dead. We don't know how many times Bobby Heenan said that. It's still great. Every time he says it, it's great, though.
30 years.
Yeah, Hulkamania is dead.
I think he got this twice in his life. This night and the night Goldberg beat him. But by the night Goldberg beat Hogan, we were all behind Bobby Heenan.
Yeah, yeah.
Because Bobby Heenan was like a fan favorite announcer at this point.
Yeah.
Because of the NWO. But yeah, for 30 years he's been waiting for Hulkamania to die.
So there's a whole story with the aftermath of this match where Undertaker was really, really safe. He protected Hogan. If you see how far he is away from the steel chair, when Flair puts the steel chair, very, very far, right? He protected him perfectly. Backstage after the match, Hogan is laid out, I think, in Vince's office or somewhere, and he's like, "Nah, he can't move," and he's telling somebody, call my wife, call her, please. And then he went to the hospital, and Undertaker thought that he really hurt him. And then it wasn't until maybe a couple of days later, whenever it was, Undertaker watched the video and saw that there was no possible way that he hurt him. And ever since then, Undertaker said he never trusted him. Like, he was always very cautious around Hogan because he's like, okay, he's that type of person.
Well,
he kind of felt
pay-per-view matches,
right. I guess he kind of felt like Hogan didn't like the fact that the Undertaker was going over on him, so he kind of tried to sabotage him in a way. Not during the match, but then after the match, he kind of saw.
Yeah.
You know. So, little side note.
You think that led to Tuesday in Texas, or they always?
No, that was already in the plans. That was already in the plans.
To vacate.
Yeah, that would have made sense, right? But no, it was already.
Well, it sounds. I mean, the way you say it sounds like.
Right. We gotta.
You hurt my moneymaker. Yeah, you're out.
No, that had already in the plans. Well, my problem with this. Okay, so this is the reason why Hogan's match is not the main event, because they wanted to sell Tuesday in Texas.
Yeah.
The rematch. So you couldn't have this at the end of the pay-per-view because then you would have went off the air. But in having it in the middle, then
time.
Jack Tunney says, "Oh, this is signed, the main event, yada yada yada." He couldn't reverse the outcome of the match, but he could have the rematch at this Tuesday in Texas on pay-per-view. So the rest of the pay-per-view, they're just selling you on.
That's all they were talking about.
Have to buy, and then they're telling us they're doing us a favor. Oh yeah, we got a holiday gift for you. How? By charging us more money? When we already spent money on this pay-per-view, not to mention your family probably spent money on Thanksgiving dinner and stuff. You got Christmas around the corner, right? Everyone's gearing up to spend money on Christmas. You want us to buy this paper
6 days later, not the following month.
Well, yeah, 6 days later. We'll get more into this when we do our Tuesday in Texas review.
Yeah,
but so that's that.
And how many times Monsoon said, call your local cable provider, the same one you got right now.
I was getting annoyed just watching this now because I haven't seen this in years.
This was like a WCW thing where they would constantly be talking about the NWO during a cruiserweight match.
We had to call call the hotline.
Call the hotline, yeah.
Call the hotline.
Yeah, $1.99 a minute. Yeah, okay.
I think again that takes away from this paper.
It did. The rest of it did. Not to mention Monsoon, and I'm in my next match here. Monsoon screwed up big
with
time.
Shawn Michaels, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We'll get into it.
Neither one of them, because they're talking about Tuesday in Texas.
Right.
Never saw the man get pinned.
Yeah.
They think he walked out, and they even show the replay. So anyway, let's get to it.
Yeah.
It was I guess they were the co-captains, the Rockers. There was no clear who the captain was in this Survivor Series match. Yeah. It was the Rockers and the Bushwhackers versus the Nasty Boys and the Beverly Brothers, which, congratulations, by the way, to Blake Beverly's son, who just spent 2 seconds in NXT, got shot up to SmackDown. His name, the name they gave him, Von Wagner.
Oh, so he'll probably
built guy, though.
So he should be released in the next month or two.
Probably. But, yeah, that's my timeline. I figure 60 days.
But wasn't me about this match? This match was like, is it this match that? No, because this is the second to main event, right?
Yes.
Okay, we'll get into the main event later then. Go ahead.
Okay. This one, to me, and you could really tell going back now that Shawn Michaels did not want to be there, because he had this look on his face, like he's looking around at the Bushwhackers and Janae going, "Oh, Jesus." Yeah,
but that was on purpose. They did that on purpose to set up that Shawn was ready to break away.
Yeah, because they had started this I think about a month or two prior. And you know what's funny? And I'll get to this when we do the Tuesday in Texas thing. They had, there were 8 dark matches at Tuesday in Texas before they went to the opening bout.
Oh,
and one of them was the Legion of Doom defending the tag team titles against the Rockers.
Oh, wow.
Actually, the Legion of Doom did it back to back. They defended against the Rockers and then the Natural Disasters. But yeah, there were 8 matches. I'll go through them when we do it, but a lot of these guys probably nobody's going to know. But when we do that, I'll get into it. So 5 minutes into this one, about 5 minutes, 20 seconds, Bushwhacker Luke goes out at the hands of Brian Knobbs. And so now we got the first one gone. Jeez. 5 minutes later, Bo Beverly takes out the other Bushwhacker. So now we got a 4 against 2 for the Rockers, unfortunately. And the Rockers really look good in this one. And I think Sean was doing it more for himself because Monsoon had even said, "Come on, Sean, what is it? Tag Jannetty. What are you doing in there?"
Yeah. They were already trying to sell it to let us know.
He did a really good dive off the apron to the outside, a flying clothesline that you really wouldn't see back then. And Sean was trying to start to show everybody, you see my ability? You're going to get plenty more of this. So Shawn Michaels takes out Bo Beverly. So now that makes it 3 against 1. But here's where the fun begins. As the chaos ensues in the ring, and you can see, unfortunately, this was really bad on how they set this up. Shawn Michaels kept looking to like when it was time for him to turn around so that when Jannetty went to slam one of the Nasty Boys, Shawn got hit with it. He gets rolled up for the pin by Brian Knobbs. And Monsoon and Heenan never see this. And they think he walks away because they have a little scuffle in the ring. He pushes him. Jannetty's like, what are you talking about, man? You know, Sean fires him up to get ready for everybody else. And he takes off. And they're like, Sean just walked out.
Out. That's unbelievable. We've never seen Shawn Michaels do that. I'm like, he got pinned.
I'm like, dude, what do you if you weren't promoting Tuesday in Texas and the whole Hulk Undertaker thing, you would have seen it. And the best part is when they show the replay.
When they show the replay,
still didn't catch it.
Yeah. Oh my!
I
wonder, but you know what? I wonder if they might not have seen the replay. The replay might have just been shown to us. And they might have.
Awesome. Was this another way of starting to break the Rockers up, saying that rather than the pin that he walked out on them?
I guess
I thought about that too.
Maybe they changed. Maybe they changed it.
Maybe he was supposed to walk out on him.
Maybe there was like a miscommunication. He was supposed to walk out, and then
after he got hit, maybe he was supposed to pull a Martel and say, "Screw this, I'm out of here."
Maybe that's what was supposed to happen. There was like in the ring. I don't know. Because the way they kept going on, and I'm like. I thought at some point they were gonna be like, "Oh no, he did get pinned," but no, they
didn't
until the very end. Until the very end, he just cost his team the match. Like
because realistically, even though they didn't air it till January, a month later at the barbershop, they did have the breakup.
But they were selling
the whole Windows 91.
They were selling it already too. They were selling it too already in the magazine because remember Bobby Heenan mentioned the WWF magazine. How they had that, and it's the famous picture of the two of them like split in the middle, like. I think that's the one that Sean ripped.
That's the one that Sean ripped and had himself.
Yeah. I love that magazine. Me and my brother used to collect them.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. But in any event, Jannetty tried. He tried.
They should have let him get one. They should have just let him get one.
Exactly. And this was really ridiculous because he rolls him up, really shitty fashion, by the way.
And then
they just push him over. And by the way,
he's right by the rope.
Yeah, and the camera angle shows his shoulders up.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. In any event, the Nasty Boys and Blake Beverly are the sole survivors of this one.
Oh, Jesus.
And this was the last pay-per-view for the Rockers, unfortunately. But it was a sign of great things to come for Shawn Michaels going forward.
Jannetty, not so much.
No, not Jannetty. Even though he won everything after Shawn left. He became tag champion, intercontinental champion. Yeah. Whatever. We go now to our main event, which is now a 3-on-3 Survivor Series match. I guess you could say it's Captain Big Boss Man and the WWE Tag Team Champions, the Legion of Doom, versus Captain IRS and the Natural Disasters. This one was 15 minutes of shit.
I felt like nobody cared. That's what I was going to say before. I felt like by the time you got to this match, like I don't even the crowd even cared.
I think people were walking out. I really do.
Well, that was the problem with having Undertaker and Hogan go in the middle of the pay-per-view and also taking Macho Man and Randy Savage out of the match. That was the problem.
Exactly. So. You put them in this match for the main event, people are going to put butts in the seats. Even if the two of them did a double disqualification, double count out, whatever.
Yeah.
I think they should have put him in this match. Or if not, get this off the main event.
And again.
And switch it.
And going back to it again, all you heard was Tuesday in Texas.
All through this match.
And I'm like.
Only when the screw up came, and I'll get to that in a second.
You only got 6 days to sell the pay-per-view, so you got to hear it. You got to hear it a million times, and then you only have the weekend. You have
Superstars and Wrestling Challenge, and I remember watching Superstars that weekend, and they oversold
Tuesday in Texas.
All I heard was about that.
This Tuesday in Texas,
and they talk about a whole pay-per-view, but they would only tell you the two matches, so you didn't know the rest of the card, which was honestly just a fill-in.
Yeah.
And some of the dark matches they had, I really believe should have been on this card. It would have made it better. Again, when we do Tuesday in Texas, I'll run down that dark match card. 6 minutes in, and this was I will give this match credit for one thing. Big Boss Man was very athletic in this one and did a lot of things you don't normally see, how quick he was and what he can do. So he really showed off his abilities in this match against IRS and the Natural Disasters. Unfortunately, IRS took him out. So Boss Man was the first one gone. However, this is where it gets really bad. After Hawk takes out Typhoon, IRS accidentally hit him with the briefcase, which is the reason why Hawk pinned him. Earthquake walked out. So this is where all of a sudden Jimmy Hart, and I'm not so sure if Jimmy Hart was managing IRS yet at this point, but eventually, obviously, he does. But that would be a real problem if Hart was actually his manager at that point, because Earthquake, they wanted to kill him. Earthquake walks out. He goes, you hit him with the thing. They counted Earthquake out. So now you got IRS having to deal with the Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
He tried to pull a honky tonk, man. Didn't work because Boss Man came back out. Told him, get back in the ring. I was really hoping they did the Doomsday Device on him, but they only did the flying clothesline off the top rope, unfortunately. IRS gets pinned. Legion of Doom are the sole survivors. And again, this was 15 minutes of garbage.
Unfortunately. It was off. It's sad, too, because Legion of Doom are in
Legion
there.
of Doom and the Natural Disasters. I mean, all great wrestlers.
Yeah, it was a stinker. You know what I always wanted to see, and I didn't know if Animal could do it or not. I wanted to see if Animal could either get up Earthquake or Typhoon up for the Doomsday Device.
Man, I don't know.
I don't think he could have.
Typhoon, I don't know.
Yeah, because Typhoon he weighed a little bit less.
If they didn't have a problem with the steroids at that point, they would have with this match if they did it.
I also wanted to see if Warrior could actually gorilla press one of them. That would have been something. I'm telling you, as a kid, these are the things that you want to see. Like, because you think they can do it.
Video game. I mean,
no, because I'm saying, as a kid, you think that you don't understand the concept of strength and weight, and you think he's a superhero. So you're like, those are the two things I wanted to see as a kid that I don't think it ever happened. I could be wrong, but I don't think it happened.
I don't think he gorilla press slammed either of them.
Yeah.
With Earthquake.
Could you imagine?
Didn't do it to Andre.
Yeah. Jesus.
Oh man. But imagine if they got Typhoon up on that. And that was actually, I enjoyed that feud with the Natural Disasters and the Legion.
It was good, yeah, because you got the two powerhouses versus these two behemoths, like these two.
Yeah, and they were always getting over on the Natural Disasters.
Yeah. So then we go to the end of the pay-per-view, and I think what they show us at the end is a Coliseum home video exclusive. I think I could be wrong, because I think the network plays the Coliseum stuff. Do you know Coliseum had bonus stuff that you never saw on the pay-per-view?
Oh, when Mean Gene finally found the Undertaker?
Right. And I could be wrong. This could have been in a live broadcast, and I just don't remember it. But I kind of feel that it was a Coliseum, because it shows the credits at the end.
Yeah, because they were already done. And
they were going on the end.
Because then they show you again on Tuesday in Texas.
Yeah,
they do the same thing. Like they cut it off and then
like you didn't see this, but yeah.
I thought it was cool how he opens up the coffin for Mean Gene. Mean Gene's freaking out, like whatever's in there's nothing in there but a green light. We warned you, Hogan. I'm like, yeah, this is good stuff. Them fighting was definitely a great way to end 91.
Oh yeah.
And to go into 92, I just wish we would have seen more from those two feuds, and we didn't. It's like they ended instantly and in poor fashion.
Well, yeah, because we'll get into this, but they have to go into the Flair Hogan program that was never to be. So,
yeah, we've gone into that already.
So, that's our Survivor Series 1991 review. We're actually not going to do 92 next week, but we're going to go into the Tuesday in Texas just because we feel like it's relevant to this.
We have to oversell it for you people like they did for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah, so you guys make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys soon.
Take care.